Good afternoon, Year 7. Today we are going to be looking at something slightly different to ecology, but still related. And we will be looking at humans and how they impact the environment that we live in. Okay, now looking at the bigger picture, we've been looking at ecology over the last few lessons. And we know that ecology is the study of how organisms interact with each other and their environment. So today we're going to be taking that and changing it slightly and looking at how humans impact the environment. Okay, the objectives below, we're going to be listing and giving examples of how humans impact the environment, and we're also going to be describing 2 ways that we can lessen the impact of humans. And Year 7, your first task today is to watch this short video about Mother Nature. Once you've watched that video and had a think about the things that I mentioned, I want you to take a look at this slide and have a think about the question of humans are just another organism, so why are we having such a big impact on other organisms on the planet? Give yourselves a couple of seconds to think about that question and look at the graph below. Now this graph dates all the way back to before 8000 BC. Have a look as you go across the graph where you'll see the different labels of the stages. So we had the Old Stone Age, the New Stone Age, the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, the Middle Ages, and now we're in modern times. Now look carefully at the population increase over the last few thousand years. You'll see that it has shot up dramatically. Okay, so we've now got millions and millions and millions, upwards of 6 billion people now living on this planet, compared to years and years and years ago when we only had 1 billion. Have a think about how that might be impacting the planet. Now that you've had a think about that graph, if the population keeps increasing, what effect will that have on the environment? Over the next few slides, we're going to be answering the question that I just asked. The first slide that pops up is all about global warming, the causes and effects. So take a look at this diagram and then move on to the next slide, where you'll see some information about global warming, what it is, what causes it, and the effects. You'll also notice at the bottom left-hand corner, there's now a green arrow, which means that you need to take notes on this slide. Over the next few slides, you will see all the different ways that humans can impact the environment in a negative way. So you need to take notes on global warming. You then need to take notes on deforestation. You then need to take notes on overharvesting. You also need to, on this slide, click the link at the bottom and have a quick watch of the YouTube video once you've written your notes. You need to write your notes about acid rain, the causes, the effects. You also need to write notes about the destruction of habitats. Now this is something that really links in very well with what we have been covering with regards to our ecology module. Again, once you've written the notes, have a quick look at the YouTube video linked at the bottom. Once you've written notes on all those different aspects of humans impacting the environment in a negative way, I would now like you to think about what we can do about the problems of human impacting the environment and write down in your notes some ideas of ways in which you think we can make the environment a better place. Now, I'm sure some of you managed to think about some of these R's that you see in front of you now. Now, these are just some ways in which we can help the environment and look after our planet, using methods like recycling, refusing, reducing, reusing, repairing, regifting, and recovering. Now, if you'd like to add any of those to your notes, then please feel free to do so, because I'm sure you didn't get all of them. Once you've done that, let's have a small bit of recap. Okay, in your notes, I'd like you to write down 2 new things that you've learned today and 1 aspect of today's lesson that you would like to look at in more detail. Now we can think back to our objectives at the beginning of the lesson of have we listed and given examples of how humans have impacted the environment? Yes. And describe 2 ways that we can lessen the impact of humans on the environment and why we need to do this. We've also looked at that. Now I want to open your eyes to this fantastic quote from the Dalai Lama, in which he says, "The only clear thing is that we humans are the only species with the power to destroy the earth as we know it. The birds have no such power, nor do the insects, nor does any mammal. Yet if we have the capacity to destroy the earth, so too do we have the capacity to protect it." Right, that's it for the PowerPoint for today's lesson. I'd like you to save your notes. You do not need to send them to your teacher today. If you have any time at the end of this lesson, you can carry on with some of the revision tasks from yesterday's lesson if you need to. There is extra videos to watch on the Extras for Enthusiasts channel, so you can take a look at some of those. I specifically recommend the BBC iPlayer Cities documentary, which also relates to how humans impact the environment and the wildlife that live around us. And if you've got any other time, then you can obviously visit BrainPop to refresh yourselves about any of the information you have looked at today. That's it from me. Thank you, Year 7. I hope you had a good lesson. I will see you tomorrow.